How jacked can you get in 8 months? This is my training partner and also obviously one of the clients I've had within the Gorilla Platoon. And I'm just going to speak about the full process we've been through because we've been training together for 8 months and this is the outcome we've got so far. Who is this video for? This video is for those of you that kind of resemble his starting position. Starting position is have trained in the past, might be in a space of detraining, therefore muscle memory is going to be on your side. Have not quite perfected training and have definitely not perfected nutrition yet. So you've actually got a fair few tools in your box. You've got a flavour for the gym in the past. You're not a complete beginner. This video is going to be for you. I think a lot of people will resemble this. So this is how much tissue we were able to develop within, and I'm going to explain how we skinned that cat and the process we did. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tom Sergi, and I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is an online physique transformation program where we get results like this week in, week out, which is kind of nice. And we're going to discuss the story and the process so you can understand what we've done, how we've got there, emulate it, and relative to which part of the process you're in. So, he started off 78 kg on the 6th of February this year. We then needed to do a recomp phase where, to be honest, the main mission really was to prime his training capability and pull off body fat. That's why he's in a difference of 8 kg. And this, to be fair, he responded. Honestly, I'm not. Do not look at this and think like this is crazy. It's just he responded very well. Some people do. He trained in the past, but was in a space of detraining. So muscle memory will come back in. So it may look like he's built muscle. And maybe he has, but maybe he already had a lot of the habits and the muscle in the past anyway. We just put fuel on the fire with correct nutrition and training. And I've literally watched every fucking rep he's ever done, boys. So, like, I'm stood over him making sure he does every rep correctly. Like, if you've ever watched any of my videos, you know I speak about 4 things when it comes to training. I'll go over them again in this video with an example. I'm making sure your tempo is correct. You're coming slow on the way down, stopping at the bottom, driving on the way up. And making sure your arm is in the right position to actually get the most out of the lift for the working muscle. I'm making sure that your range of motion is as long as it could be so you're not leaving any distance travelled off the table. And I'm watching him like train to failure. Because if not, I can't then... He's going to call me out for being a bitch. If I don't train to failure... And then obviously I'm going to call him out if he does the same. So like, of course, we're going to get the most out of his training. Muscle is obviously built in the gym. So we pulled off a kg each week. And honestly, he responded really, really well to this. Really, really well. And people will, if you've not been following a structured diet for a while and you jump on a structured diet, it will feel like you're eating more food because you're probably eating more fiber, fruit and veg and all that good stuff, packing out the diet so it'll feel bigger. But actually you're eating a controlled amount of calories and you'll be surprised. If you've not tracked calories and if you've not followed a meal plan, you'll be surprised how much excess garbage you're eating and that is actually going in. And it won't seem a lot until you track it. And then you're like, oh, holy fuck. And this is all we did for him. And honestly, it really did not take that much. So as you can see, we dieted him down. He got a bit of fucking suntan along the way. And we dieted him down. And he got leaner. And ultimately, you look bigger when you're leaner. For context, taken with a pump, taken without a pump. It's also taken with a pump. So just understand that with these photos. I like to be transparent about things. Motherfuckers will try and call me out in the comments, and they absolutely can. But with pump, same gym, same lighting. So fair enough on that. But yeah, so we pulled him down 8 kg. Didn't need to be a great deficit. The leaner you are, it doesn't need to be a great deficit. This was probably like started off at a 200-300 and ended up at a 500. We pushed cardio as well throughout that process. Now, at this point here, on the 29th of March, he's 70 kg and he's pretty fucking lean, right? Now at this point, all we really did, we didn't do anything special. We didn't change the program. We pulled his cardio to just health amount per week, which is 60 minutes per week. His steps were allowed to stay within an 8 to 10k rep range. But all we did was we just kept adding a little bit of fuel when we needed it. When his numbers weren't flying up in the gym, we just added a bit more fuel, some more carbohydrates. When they started to plateau again, we had a bit more fuel. If the scale wasn't moving, we added a bit more fuel. Now, from March being the 3rd month of the year to now being the 9th, this is 6 months. 10 kg across 6 months. Nothing crazy, not a crazy amount, but he looks a fuck ton better for it, right? So this is more than achievable. You can more than achieve a 10.5 kg increase across 6 months. Of course you can. I advocate of anywhere from like a zero point 0.3 to 0.6 gain per week, which on average, like that's about a 2 kg. So across 6 months, you could be touching more towards, 12. So with that, that's a steady rate. And to be fair, actually, he's nearly maxed that out. But obviously, you've got to understand, I've tracked his nutrition week in, week out. We've checked in week in, week out. We've looked at the data week in, week out. And then we've added a bit more fuel when it's needed. So, of course, we're going to get this outcome because I autistically look at the data and make the decision off the back of it. And then I take him in the gym, train with me, and watch every repetition he does. It couldn't be more controlled if we tried. Like, this is absolutely the result you can get if I'm literally living and breathing it with you. So just understand that. So this is how much muscle he was able to build. Do I know how much muscle he built? No, I'm not I can't like cut him into pieces and weigh out the amount of muscle difference between the two shots. But just let's zoom out. Like, I make this channel so you can gain muscle, you can drop body fat, you can look better. But let's just remember why we're doing this in the first place. You want to gain muscle so you're a thicker, solid human being. That's really what this is about. Everything I do is really a tool to get you to that pinnacle point. So now we can see at this point, he is a thicker, more solid human being. Granted, he's got a fucking pump. Of course he's got a pump in this photo. But he's a more thicker, solid human being. And the development is he's now 2.5 kg above this weight here. But you can really see now what body fat does to someone and why it weighs so much. And just by putting on muscle, it doesn't need to be a shit ton of kilograms of muscle to really change how your physique looks. Which it used to blow my mind. I used to think, what, you're only going to put on 3 kilos of muscle this year? Little do you know, if you put on 3 kilos of pure muscle, you will look like a different human being. If you could put on 4 or 5, fuck me, you're going to look unrecognizable the next time you diet down. So don't get too discouraged if you think, you only put on a few kilos of muscle during this bulking phase. No. Look at the visuals. It's always about the visuals. The numbers and the data, they're needed to make the progress, but they're not the focus point. The body fat percentage is not the focus point. It's how do you look visually. Oh, well, I can see my abs. I can see lines coming through here. Got a nice vein coming through. Cool. How do you look visually? Well, I look thicker across my upper shelf. Nice. That's what this is about. That's what this is really about. And you can see the change in his face, like the leanness we had here. And obviously, the bigger he gets, the more you start to lose that across your face. Of course you do. And we can see the abs are starting to disintegrate a touch as well. That was me. I was briefing him, press down, breathe out, as we did in these shots. So we can see the abs are starting to go a little bit. And that's another thing you need to be okay with. As you become a thicker human being, those abs will start to disintegrate, especially if they're not absolute breeze blocks. Then they will start to disintegrate. You need to be okay with that. And what I would say is, when you go from here to here, get excited about the leanness and the crispiness of the midsection and the veins you've got here. That's what you should be getting excited about. When you go from here to here, disregard this, disregard your midsection, focus on being a strong bad boy mule in the gym and just being a thicker, denser human being and a more manly man about this. That's what this is really about here. You motherfuckers always ask me the height of the clients, and do you know what? I never ask them, and I never really think to ask them either, because it's not a metric I need to get the result, so I don't actually think about it, but I think I think he's about 5'10", because he's definitely taller than me, and I'm only 5'8", so he's definitely I think he's around 5'10". I don't know. I haven't fucking measured him, boys. It doesn't matter to get the result, so that's why I never ask, so apologies if you always ask that question and I don't get back to you. But why I make this video is, I just want you to see what's possible. Like, that's not a long period of time, really. That's 8 months of work. Could you have gone straight into the bulk? I wouldn't. I don't. Like, you can. Absolutely, you can. You do not need to take what I say as gospel. You shouldn't take what I say as gospel. I'm just telling you, this is what I'm doing. This is how we get the result. You just take the bits you like. That's always the thesis across this channel. But I shave them off first because we give them more room and headway to play with, especially with the midsection. Just more from a mental standpoint as well. Like, if you are leaner and you start adding fuel to the fire, you look a lot better. Like, I've got a photo of him when he was the same weight, 78. This shot here, fuck, that's blurry. So this shot here, I took this and he was 78. So still like a bit leaner as well. But you see how, because if you compared this leanest shot to this, you can see how like you start to blow up and you look really fucking good in the gym, and that makes you more aggressive and train harder. Whereas if you start and you bulk from this, can you do it? Of course you can, boys. But you're never going to look good anyway because you didn't look good in the starting position. Now you're adding more fuel to it. You're going to look softer, of course you are. And if the muscle wasn't there, developed already, you're just going to look even less muscle to fat ratio, which I just don't think is good for boys' like mental health. I really don't. I don't think that's going to serve you at all. So I always go lean first, showcase what you've got and what we're working with, and develop and build from there. And then this is the outcome we get. So I wanted to make this bit of motivation. This is what we did. And it real simple, remember? So start weight, slowly pull off body fat, 8 weeks, recom, in and out job, looks leaner, nice, into the gaining phase, slowly just reverse out the gaining phase, add more carbs when it was needed, listen to the body, but most importantly, boys, train like a fucking animal. Train like an absolute animal. And just let me show you what your last repetition should look like in the gym so you know you're training hard enough. So your main money mover compound exercises, still everything stays the same, tempo down slow, pause, drive up, pause. By the way, boys, this was obviously taken a while back. We're on 3 plates now, 10 reps, fucking come on. So let me just fast forward to, let's go, here we go. So drives up, cool, it's getting tough. Compulsory breaths, now we fucking send it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds to get that load back up. That's how you know you're training hard enough. Make all your last reps like that, you will grow. You will grow like a fucking garden weed, boys. So thanks for watching. Hopefully it inspired you. Hopefully it showed you what's possible across just not really that long of a span. And yeah, you go and get after it and do it yourself. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.